Tesla makes grid-scale battery storage, the MegaPack. You've of course heard about it, but did you know that each factory they make could easily surpass some automotive lines in terms of profit alone? I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla Weekend. So we're joined again with Randy Kirk, best-selling author of the Elon Musk Mission with Lars from Best in Tesla and the Elon Musk Method, both of which great books. And he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur, he's a sharp guy all around, and he's got some interesting takes on what MegaPack can do, what it can be. Randy, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
So MegaPack was being made in Giga, Nevada. Now, you and I had talked about this. You said, Brian, you told me your source said they're not going to close that down until April. And I can confirm from my source, they will close it down in April. They are still making MegaPack version 1 out there for a few more days, maybe a week. By the time this is out, it's probably closed. They probably had their going away party as it moves completely to Lathrop, where they're making the version 2, which is, 40% bigger? 82,000 pounds instead of 57,000 pounds. A lot more capacity, a lot higher price. You've got some interesting takes on the margins of what this could mean from just this one MegaPack factory. Tell me about that.
Well, what people have failed to really to get it in their head, because it's not as sexy as cars. Let's face it, you have to have some kind of a way to talk about it that makes it a little bit sexier than putting up big steel boxes in the middle of the desert. So I came up with this approach, which says that every single MegaPack factory, every single Lathrop, is the equivalent in profit to 250,000 Model 3s and maybe Model Ys.
Wow. So what are you showing? What do you think the profit is per MegaPack? The retail price is what, 2 point something million?
Yeah,
two and change.
What I've done is I've kind of rounded it off just to make it easy for my head. So I'm figuring that the average is 2 million.
I think that's reasonable because the bigger installations are almost certainly getting a discount for
I think the bigger ones are down around 1.85, according to my information. So I'm saying $2 million per unit. They're doing 12 units a day right now, but the capacity is 25. So you're looking at 25 a day, you're looking at $20 billion a year of gross revenue. Now that gross revenue doesn't include installation, it doesn't include ongoing maintenance, it doesn't include ongoing fees that they might get from arbitrage with the local utility companies, just for the hardware delivered to the, maybe not even delivered, but anyway, the hardware alone is $2 million average. So I take no credit for these numbers at all. Other people have done all this reporting and all this analysis, but I have read their analysis thoroughly, and I think they're right on. The minimum margins on this is 40%.
I agree 110%. That is absolutely the numbers I'm coming up with. We know they were marginally profitable at $1 million when they were smaller. This is twice the price. But they were using 18650s. They were using 21s. They were using the most expensive batteries you could get. And now they've switched to LFPs from China, which are cheaper. And, well, you don't get the same volumetric. I don't need it. I've got space. I don't have to drive them around everywhere. So absolutely, I agree, 40%. So you're saying minimum 8 to 12 billion in profit on just one Lathrop. And that's based on current projected speeds rather than, as we know Tesla likes to do, increase it over time. So what do you think? Does that mean they're going to build a second MegaPack factory?
Well, I think they've already announced the second. So Shanghai is the second location. I did an entire video on this if people want to go look it up. I have made my estimates of when, well, not exactly when, but where each factory will be produced. And I based it on two things again, that one thing that Elon and the company has talked about, and the other thing is based on just brain power. So you want to put these factories where the customers are. Okay, let's start, let me back up. These things weigh a lot. They take an entire semi-truck to move them around.
An oversized semi-truck.
to take these things from point A to point B. Well, okay, it's all batteries. So it takes that same truck to bring the batteries from the battery factory to wherever the container is. So you want to have your factory close to your Lathrop, your MegaPack factory. You want those batteries as close as you can get them, but you also want that battery factory, the MegaPack factory now, to be as close to the customer as possible. So where are you going to put it? You're going to put it in deserts. You're going to put it in sunny places or really windy places like Northern Europe, where they're putting in huge amounts of wind, offshore wind, massive amounts of offshore wind going in Northern Europe and off the coast of Britain, the British Isles. So these are the places you want to go. You want to go where your customer is, but also where your batteries are. So where are those two things? Lots and lots of Southern California, southwestern regional areas. So I think the third one will be down in Texas, and the fourth one might be in Mexico.
Those are all reasonable assumptions. Texas has a lot of intermittent power that they need to manage. Getting things by train from Texas up to the Great Plains is not super complicated. So those are all good answers. And then looking around the world, India would be another decent choice because Indonesia.
Yeah.
Well, and because they're LFP batteries, every country has the minerals to make them. These are not difficult minerals to procure. There's no cobalt. There's no nickel. It can absolutely be done that way. And we know the likes of CATL has the money and the will to put that factory anywhere you ask them to.
Right.
Anywhere you just say the word and they will have it done. And we've got that new CATL factory going in about a mile and a half from Giga Shanghai.
Right.
And we've just seen in the recent weeks the space just to the southeast of Giga Shanghai had all their offices and logistics center for construction there. All of it's been removed. The concrete's been torn out. There's a non-zero chance that's where the battery factory is going, is right next door to Giga Shanghai, and it would make sense. Anywhere there's power, there is a need for MegaPacks.
Exactly.
So you're talking, just assuming it's the size of Lathrop, and you could be talking $10 billion per year per plant.
Yes. Profit.
In profit, in margin.
Yes. And by the way, last year they made $12 billion total for the year. For all.
Right.
So
when Elon said stationary storage could be bigger than automotive, he wasn't kidding.
Long term, I'm looking at 1 terawatt. I'm figuring, based on the Master Plan 3 and other things that Elon has said, I'm figuring that they will do 1 terawatt between Powerwalls and MegaPacks, and who knows what third thing might be coming along, because there might be a smaller unit, bigger than a power pack and smaller than the MegaPack, that would be great for factories and military installations and things of that nature. So there might be a third thing, but whatever it is, if you got 1 terawatt at basically $250 profit, or let's call it 200 for now, $200 profit per kilowatt. Now you're talking about $200 billion of profit per year.
So in addition to factories and grid scale energy storage, like that would replace a peaker plant, a gas peaker plant, can you name other applications where storage like this is needed? Who's buying 1 or 2 or 3 MegaPacks?
Yeah, so I mean, again, let's start with the big one. The big one is going to be the solar and wind farms, okay? And basically, after doing some research a couple of months ago, I realized, and I've now had it confirmed 15 different ways, that the reason why solar and wind has not expanded faster across the world is because they're waiting for batteries. So they have all the capacity they need to build these wind factories and these solar farms way faster than they are now, but they needed the batteries because they're just not efficient enough until they get the batteries. So now if the batteries start coming online, they will start ramping up these solar and wind farms like crazy. So that's going to be your number one. Number two is massive numbers of peaker plants that will be coming off grid. as they wear out or whatever. And some of them, if they get the batteries soon enough, they could tear the peaker plant down tomorrow, and it would already be a good deal for them. So those are two really huge ones. Then, like you said, we have the factories, military installations, even maybe shopping centers and things of this nature, wherever you have other large solar installations on roofs or over parking lots. Then a huge one that people sometimes miss is all of the charging stations that are being put up right now, whether they're put up by Tesla or whether they're put up by other makers. We know that there's going to have to be massive numbers of these charging stations deployed, not just by Tesla. And every one of them has at least 10 stations, 10 units, if you will. Everybody's calling them different things. 10 pumps is going to need, if they want to be efficient, they're going to need a MegaPack. And if they have 40, they're going to need 4. If they have 100, they're going to need 10. So that's another one. And then you get to the Cybertrucks and to the semi-trucks. So roughly every 10 semi-trucks is going to need a MegaPack, whether that's in a point-to-point location where they're being deployed from a manufacturer to a distributor, or from a distributor to a grocery store or whatever. You're going to need MegaPacks and mega chargers all at these point-to-point locations to charge the trucks. And then you're going to have the the truck stops that are going to take care of the guys that only have 1 or 2 trucks. So yeah, there's going to those are some, that's not all, but those will take us easily into the 30s in terms of the requirement, in terms of the capacity that's going to be out there.
So I can tell you another $24 billion in sales. Okay. Hospitals. Every hospital needs a uninterrupted power source backup, because you cannot lose power during surgery. Right. And every hospital already has these. And what they have is banks and banks of deep cycle lead acid batteries that cost $600-700 each. They're, a normal car battery is like 60 amps, 30 to 60 amps, I want to say. And these are 150 amp batteries. And they're outrageously expensive. I know, because I used to get secondhand ones that came out of a hospital to put in my Zen Electric, my 2008 Zen Electric, terrible little joke of a EV. But 6,000 hospitals, each one is going to need, I would guess, 2 MegaPacks. Yeah. And if that's the case, we're talking $4 million for every hospital. And it's, we're gouging the No. Over the long term, this is a better deal, because this is a 20-year item instead of something you're servicing non-stop. Swapping out the batteries every year or 2 with the lead acid, and those just go to scrap. And I know, because the guy I was buying them from would get, he was the IT guy at the hospital. He was allowed to buy as many as he wanted at scrap trade-in price, which was, I don't know, $50 or something. Right. And so I would get them for $100. Yeah. And it was still outrageously expensive, but the applications are endless. Every cold storage facility has a diesel generator system that costs an absolute screaming fortune. They can now put in a MegaPack. Just one would probably do the trick. Mm-hmm. And that MegaPack can also arbitrage power. Right. So it's actually a revenue source rather than just a backup.
So 25 years ago, I think roughly, I had a 25,000 square foot warehouse, manufacturing facility. And 25 years, or maybe it was 30 years ago, I looked into solar for the roof, because my energy bill was $14,000 a month, 25 years ago. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I looked into putting solar on my roof, and it didn't quite pay off fast enough. I forget how many years it would take to pay off, but it didn't pay off fast enough. But 25 years later, when solar prices have dropped dramatically,
90%,
and now you can add a MegaPack or something like a MegaPack. Every little factory like mine, it was just a little 100 employee factory. Every little factory like that, this becomes an item.
So I guess my question in the chat is going to be, not in the chat, but in the comments, what I want to hear from you guys is, when do you think profit from MegaPacks is going to hit $10 billion? because I believe it's on the horizon. And we haven't even discussed all the applications they have for keeping those packs for themselves in places like Giga Texas, in places like the Project Gambit, where they set up their own utility in Texas, and other places. Anywhere where the price is so high that it just makes sense, they're not going to sell it to you. I mean, sure, we can sell one to you as well, but we're getting in on this. So I guess the question is, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? We got to hear from you in the comments so we know. If you get a chance, do check out the Elon Musk Mission and the Elon Musk Method. Great books. And Lars co-wrote the Elon Musk Mission. Lars from Best in Tesla. Be nice. And so we have a lot of fun. And so, yeah, check out his channel, all that good stuff. And for the rest of you folks, maybe check out my Patreon. These folks are the ones who keep the lights on for me, because I don't have a MegaPack just yet. And for the rest of you, stay tuned, stay juicy, and we can't wait to hear from you clever robots in the comments.